Hey everyone, it's Matt C, and I'm doing a quick review video for Justin Dutton's Unstitched, Part 1 of 2. It's a 48-page story, and I'm on his Indiegogo right now. I believe, yes, still in demand. I think he's somewhere between printing and fulfilling, I believe. I think he's wrapping that up soon. Should have asked him before doing this. But I know, I mean, he's raised 8K, just $6 over 8K since August. I guess August 18th was over 7K. Sorry, I just finished reading an advanced copy, and so I'm just kind of trying to collect my thoughts. And I thought I'd just kind of do this fresh, without a script or anything like that, because yeah, TLDR is it's really fantastic. It's even better than it implies in the art, as you can see here, which is very professional stuff. Yeah. It's got a Jason Brubaker cover as well, which is great. I actually backed, I think a lot of people did back Brubaker's cover. I backed the other one just because I think I just really I fell in love in a big way with the art style of the interiors, and I just liked the consistency of bringing that out. You know, on the front page as well, on the cover. But I mean, both are equally fantastic. Something really interesting about Justin, I guess we both have this in common, is we came into the indie circuit because of people like Jason. I know we're not the only two. There's a lot of people that Jason kind of introduced into the sphere about 10 years ago, maybe a little more, was when I mean, this isn't a review of Jason Brubaker stuff, but basically, long story short, he kind of taught people. He was the first comic creator to raise over 100K, and his approach, and I think it's actually been pretty formative for stuff like Unstitched here, and for a lot of other people, even in 2020 today, is that he he didn't just want to make comics and crowdfund it. He wanted to make comics that were so good in quality, the physical quality and the art quality and everything, that that they would be like a coffee table comic that you'd want to have, you know, on display. You'd be proudly displaying in your home, not just on your bookshelf, but out on the table, you know, as a work of art. And so that's been I think that's been Justin's approach here. And yeah, I'm not gonna show spoilery pages. I'll just show a few things, but I want you to know, it's something really, there's something exceptional going on here. It's really cute. There's, I can imagine, so basically, as you can tell, this is it's a story written for kids in a sense. I mean, it's written for me. I bought it, but it's as you read it, you can kind of, it's a simpler language being used, and you can imagine. My understanding is this is Justin's intent. Is that he would be reading this to his niece. You know, it's kind of like reading, instead of reading a story. You know, the story that you read at bedtime would be a comic book. That's kind of his approach, and just showing opening pages here. In the, I guess, like, so I was approaching it, not just reading it, but what the intended audience would be, which is, you know, someone old enough to read and be reading it to a kid. So that's kind of like this. And there's a secondary audience. I guess I would say primarily the audience is the kid being read to, in all likelihood. Though I suppose kids old enough to read would enjoy this, but you know, the primary audience being probably the adult who bought it. But it's really high quality. I'm trying to think. The world of the teddies is not as interesting to me as the world of the family. I just kind of want to show you one exception to that. I mean, yeah. I really like the StarCraft stars. That was pretty cool. But other than that, like I didn't. And he doesn't spend a lot of time in the magical world where the teddies come from, which I think is probably for the best. That's a big temptation, I think, for a lot of writers, especially comic book writers, especially American comic book writers, is they think that a world you tell a story by doing like world building, and world building serves a narrative. Narratives don't serve world building. I don't know um, anyone. I guess the star example of a excessively produced world building experiment is like Lord of the Rings, for instance. But that's kind of, even that's a misnomer. I don't think a lot of people actually realize that Tolkien wasn't even uh, he would reshape his world building as he went along with the publishing in order to fit the narrative. So narrative was supreme even for him, and I like that Justin is doing that here. Uh, and yeah, because I'm primarily interested in what the character relationships are and what those interactions look like, and yeah, there's a lot of clever stuff about uh, what these kind of like Monsters Inc., like these sort of just so sort of examples of what they're the crack team of like anti nightmare teddy bears are doing, and what their training looks like, what the hierarchy of command looks like, and what their motivations, what their enemies look like. And I dig those. There's kind of like there's a pushover. I think they're dust bunnies or something like that. There's like a creature under the bed sort of type monster, and it goes up from there. And those are clearly defined, and they're not just explained in a way that it, they don't. Yeah, it's not just there because he thought it was cool. It's there because it's actually telling part of a narrative journey, which I like. The art, I think, is very consistent throughout the 48 pages. I would say so. It's kind of broken up by chapters, almost like two issues bound up into one, which I think that's literally what it is. Part one of two is I think that's two issues put together. I'd say the art is slightly better in the second issue than the first, and that's no surprise, and that never bothers me. Honestly, I like to see, uh, in a way, I think it's good to see development over the course of the artistic development over the course of the story, because I think it does two things, other than it just being natural as the artist gets better over time, especially if it's taken the months to produce this. The first thing it's doing is actually allowing kind of a simpler space for your eyes and your mind and your imagination to kind of get used to, and then it gets more complex and detailed as it goes along, as your brain kind of gets used to the world, and it keeps things fresh as well. So your eyes are you know uh, I don't know, just kind of pouring over progressively more. I wish I could just. I'm gonna bring it over here so I don't pick something. Yeah, so your eyes just kind of get if everything looked exactly just as good as everything else, you would get less used. You would get. I think your eyes tend to get bored over time, and it starts to look like the art's actually kind of dropping off. That's like you kind of have to make your eyes sort of You have to exercise the person's imagination, and they do get used to a certain level. And over time, if you can increase that level of imagination and artistic talent on the page, I think that continually exercises people's imaginations. And yeah, and also I think it develops. So that's the first part. The second part is that it develops the story. I think the story should be simpler at first, as you're getting used to the narrative and the characters, and just getting introduced to everybody, and then as things go along. I just realized that's kind of cool. Yeah, she kind of just drew, like a heart shape, and then she put a, yeah. Anyway, a very talented. Oh, what's her name? What's the name of the artist? I just know she's like Eastern European or something. Yeah, Laura Rimazombati. Yeah, does incredible work. Yeah, so this is gonna be. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to part two as well. It is a good story. It's got good setup. I think it's really precious. It's written in a particular way that I think uh, is it's designed. I think I don't know why. Like I don't know. It reads very well as a story that you would be actually reading aloud to a kid, which I think is the primary point of it's the function that this. I mean, frankly, this work of art is attempting to perform, and I think it does it well. And sorry, taking a sip of coffee here. And yeah, and it's very affordable. So yeah, I think pick up, part one, and look for part two as well, and look for Justin's other projects. I know a little bit about what his future content, his plans for 2021 are looking like, and that's going to be exceptional too. I do think he's a good writer. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of particularly for the story, which is it's necessary that the story has this level, but it's there's a lot of cute moments, and they're done anything but in the farthest thing from cringy. It's really some precious stuff, but a lot of clear and real, as you can see on the cover here, serious challenges that you feel like are I don't know, maybe too scary for kids. I don't. Though then again, like even by age 5, I mean, a lot of people, if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you were exposed to a lot of really weird stuff. Like I think I saw Chucky at age 6 or 7, or at least I walked in to my parents watching it, and I saw aliens on my buddy's 7th birthday. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but a lot of us grew up that way, and this isn't any. It's no surprise that this isn't any scarier than that. It's not as scary as that, but it's yeah, it's good stuff. And full disclosure, I am a friend of Justin's, but yeah, I've always been an advocate of be upfront with, like, I'm not entirely impartial because I backed this, so I want it to succeed. And I'm also Justin's friend, so I want it to succeed on that level too. But that doesn't mean I'm able to give an honest and biased review at the same time. And you're able even more as a potential backer to take my biased assessment and judge whether or not you would feel the same way after reading this. And yeah, it's really it's good quality. He's doing something very unusual here by writing with that primary, secondary, adult and kid audience in mind. That's a challenge to do. You have to sell a book to 2 people at once when you do this sort of thing. You have to sell it to the adult with the credit card, and you have to sell it to what the adult thinks the kid would want. That's no easy task. But he, clearly he's done well with the fundraising. He's done really well with pairing himself up with the right artist for this project. It's got you know, it's the best of like it's like there's a Gindi uh, Tartakovsky sort of thing going on, and like 90s Cartoon Network. But yeah, really quality, and yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's end on his. Yeah, looks like he's Big Dreamer sold out. Original art poster sold out, which is awesome. Got Children's Hospital bundle. I mean, this just goes to show you how exceptional Justin really is with this project. Fortunately, it's great. He's got 3 claimed already, so he's giving a bunch of yeah, giving books to St. Jude's, Ronald McDonald House, and more. Yeah, six copies. It's a great idea. I'm gonna steal that. And yeah, retail bundle with buyback, which I love. Another great idea. I never even thought about that, but you can buy a bunch, and if you can't sell them, you sell them back to him at the cost you bought them at, which is great. Yeah, he's doing good things here. So yeah, check it out. And he's good people. You can see if he can survive and stay relatively drama free and positive and investing in others without having the vortex whirlpool of drama suck him under and consume him. Then he's probably someone you can reliably back and expect to still be proud of this project on your bookshelf years from now. Yeah, so that's my opinion, Justin. Yeah, so that's the review. Thanks again for checking this out. The only like, if just so it's not 100% positive, just trying to think. I'm excited. There's always that push to create a sense of suspense and anticipation for the second part of the next part of the story, and he's got a lot of he knows how to build up to the end, to end on a climax, and he does end on a climax in both, at the 24 page mark and the 48 page mark, and so he's got his work cut out for him to do something really fun and cool. I'm imagining what he set up. There's something at the end of, on page 48 that's probably going to get tackled at page what is it, 60? When he does 48 pages, the next, issue 3 is going to tackle that, and then the final boss is going to be tackled on issue 4, I'm assuming. And so we haven't seen a lot of I'm trying to think of how to word it. He's just going to have to tackle that really well. But we have seen there's several fight scenes in this, in various approaches to fight scenes, imaginative and real in this, and so we're just gonna see him tackle that. So I can't speak to how that is going to play out. So I'm just wondering, as he wants me to, I'm sure. I'm wondering how he's actually going to tackle that in interesting and surprising ways. So there's a lot of build up here, but I mean, I'm along for the ride. It's really fun because the character development is solid, and the parents are really sweet too. There's a lot of perhaps you would think that the parents get out of the scene pretty fast and they stay out, but or maybe you wouldn't because of the first few pages. But really nice, especially in the second and the issue 2, 24 to 48 page arc. There's some nice parent stuff there too. So there's a lot of setup in this. It's hard to do a 2-part story and not have that sort of. That's probably the best way to write a 2-part story, is to have most of the payoff be on the second half. So he's got his work cut out for him to tell all of that without it feeling, while still having part two have a you know, beginning, middle, and end that feels like there's an internal arc inside of the you know, the greater full story arc. So it's going to be interesting to see how he tackles that. But I'm pretty sure, based on how he's done here, that he's going to do well. And I wouldn't really say that about most people. I wouldn't even really. I was asked to review this, but I wouldn't really review most comics, to be honest. But this is right up my alley. Like I said, I'm just kind of I'm impressed. Yeah, so go ahead and check this out. You know, we've got digital. We've got two options for the cover. Two cover options for part one here, and he's got the featured perk, a Dreamer perk, with yeah, looks like oh, that would be another thing. I'm a little unsure about what the perks involved. Evidently 32 people figured it out and I didn't. I think it's a poster pack plus the book, which is cool. Oh yeah, both covers, poster, and mini print. See, eventual those sort of things. But that's yeah, that's the review. Sorry, this probably went on twice as long as it should have if I had actually taken notes. But it's really it's nice stuff. I'm really there's actually been a few books that I was impressed with on the campaign page, and then was a little disappointed. I mean, I hate to say it, but some of them. There's one in particular I'm thinking of I didn't even finish because it was such a it was a labor to read. But this was it reads really freshly. It's fun. It's very creative and delightfully illustrated. So that's a review. Thanks for hanging out with me and checking us out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.